Hello everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Killer Backgrounds. I started this off with a vote to see which killer you wanted to learn the background of first. So, you all voted for Jason Voorhees. And I've come up with a background through knowledge from both comic books, movies, and such, and put it together in a special way just for you. And I noticed that a lot of this information is not actually on many videos that I've seen. Now, if you do find some of this information on other videos, I would actually like to see them, so please comment them down below, and I would love to watch them. Now, to go ahead and get this started off, we're going to have to go all the way back to 1930. Now, some of you might be wondering why we are starting in 1930. The reason for this is because this is the year that Pamela Sue Voorhees is born. Pamela Sue Voorhees is Jason's mother. Many years after she is born, she is impregnated by a man named Elias Voorhees, a strong, quiet man who physically beats Pamela. Now, this causes Pamela to have a great fear of Elias, so much so that she does not even tell him that she is pregnant with Jason. Now, Pamela has a slight case of schizophrenia in this, where she can actually hear Jason's voice long before he is born. Now, what Jason tells her to do is to kill Elias as to keep them safe. In the year 1947, on September, Pamela finally agrees to kill Elias, and at night she takes an axe and jams it through his head. Later on that night, she drags him outside, throws him in the truck after chopping him into bits and putting him in a bag. She then blows up the old Voorhees trailer and then drives away. On her way out, she dumps his body into a river. Okay, now that we've gone over what exactly happened between Jason's mother and father, we can go ahead and get to the interesting stuff, where Jason comes in. Now, what happens after they leave Ohio and dump off Elias is Pamela finds a home in Crystal Lake, New Jersey, where she also loves to wander around and eventually found a job working in a diner as a chef. Now, her job at the diner actually leads to her meeting the Christies, where she is then offered a job as a cook to work at Camp Crystal Lake during the summers. Pamela accepts the job. Being an expecting mother, she needed the money. Now, as soon as she accepts the job, Jason steps in and is finally born. So, now that Jason is born, we can actually get into this backstory. After Jason is born, he slowly grows up, learning from his mother and staying at home. But after 10 years, Jason is let outside to play by one of his babysitters. And what happens is, Jason's form of play, he kills many different animals and brings inside a mutilated cat. Jason is covered in blood, and when he is asked if he is okay, he just smiles and laughs. To this, the lady calls Pamela up at work and has her come home and quits. Now, the reason Jason actually went to Camp Crystal Lake in this version is because the babysitter quit and Pamela had no other choice. She had to go up there, and the counselors talked her into bringing Jason. They told her that they would be very responsible and watch over him. Now, we all know how this goes. Jason is out there getting ready to go swimming, and the counselors sneak off to go have sex. In this version, Jason actually follows the counselors into the forest where he finds them having sex. Jason, angered by this, attacks Barry and Claudette, who accidentally hit him. Being afraid of this, Jason runs away and ends up falling into Camp Crystal Lake, where it is said that he drowns. Now, this is actually confirmed later on, and I'll tell you why. Now, we all know what happens after this. Pamela goes on her killing spree. The camp gets a new nickname for Camp Blood. Now, what a lot of people don't know is the fact that if you look into one of the more recent comics of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, we learn that Jason did indeed die, and how he came back is the Necronomicon from Evil Dead. Now, it was stashed inside of the Voorhees house by Elijah Voorhees, and eventually used to bring Jason back from the dead. So, Jason is officially a Deadite. Now, the reason I went with the Pamela's Tale comic is that in the end, you see that Pamela pulls up into Camp Crystal Lake, Annie's dead in her Jeep beside her, and she's been telling her this tale the whole time. That's how we've learned the backstory and everything. And I chose this because it coincides with the movie so perfectly. In Friday the 13th Part 1, she actually shows up with Annie dead in her vehicle. And this is a very pivotal moment of the movie. So I thought, this is a great way to tie it all together. Now the way it goes is that after Jason is brought back by the Necronomicon, he doesn't find his mother for a while, and eventually the first time he actually finds her is when she is beheaded. And this drives Jason to have just this unstoppable rage. After Pamela's death at the hands of Alice, Jason takes his mother's head with him to avenge her by killing Alice, the girl who killed her. After this, 5 years pass and no murders are reported, until the time of Higgins Haven. After killing Alice, he drags her body all the way back to his altar that he made for his mother. For the next many years, Jason kills and kills and kills, eventually finding a person named Shelley, who... The reason Shelley is so important is Shelley is the one who originally has Jason's iconic hockey mask. At the end of this movie, Jason has an axe plunged through his head, which creates the iconic scar we see. That is the end of Friday the 13th Part 3. Not until Friday the 13th Part 4 does Jason actually die again. Now, the reason he dies is because he is killed with his own machete. I believe this is why he is actually considered dead afterwards. But, after a few years, Friday the 13th Part 6, Tommy Jarvis digs up Jason's grave and sticks a metal rod through Jason's chest, and it is struck by lightning, essentially bringing him back to life again. This is where Jason actually starts to have the abilities of super strength, completely unstoppable force. And this is what makes him such a challenge against Freddy Krueger later on in the series, as he goes through many different movies, where he's just killing and killing and killing, eventually leading up to the final movie of Freddy vs. Jason. Now, after Freddy vs. Jason, there's a reboot, but that's a video for a different time. Now, as I talked about before, that is the end of the movie storyline. What happens after that is Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. And that's where we learn Jason's full backstory and everything, that he is a Deadeye and such. I honestly really recommend that you check these comic books out. It's Pamela's Tale, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. The Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash is a 6-issue comic. Now, I really hope you all liked this version of Jason's backstory. I'm sorry if I missed quite a bit of details. This is my first time doing it. I've been working really hard, staying up till about 5 a.m. every morning, trying to get all the information down I needed, work on other videos and such, and get this all out for you. I wanted this to be done on Friday the 13th, so I've been working extra hard for it. So, if you all like the video, please let me know. And next week is going to be Candyman. He has officially won the vote for the next killer background. Now, other than that, I don't know if there's anything else to say. And I hope you guys learned quite a few new things about Jason Voorhees. Thanks for coming by.